Hello and welcome, my name is Ahuran and this is my Let's Play series of Stellaris. Stellaris, which has finally come out. Oh, I've been so looking forward to it. Anyway, in the last episode, we created our Lightbringers of Ahuran, a Science Directorate ruled by Ahuran the 16th of the species Ahuran. We have invented warp travel, and we live on the planet Loken. We are collectivists, xenophobes, and materialists. And we are intelligent, strong, but decadent. And we live on desert planets. In the eons since the first primitive Ahuran communities took shape amid the great dune seas of Loken, our civilization has spread and prospered. Through scientific progress, we have managed to stamp out the superstitions that ruled the minds of our ancestors. As reason and rational thought spread among our people, the inefficient nation states that we had until then organized themselves into were disbanded, and a council of our most accomplished scientists was gathered to rule in their stead. Now, after the successful creation of several experimental subspace fields, the finest minds of the Lightbringers of Ahuran have finished development of the first warp drives. The stars themselves are finally within our grasp.
Greetings, Director. I am Veer, a prototype synthetic intelligence developed by the finest minds of our civilization to serve as your advisor. I shall endeavor to perform my duties with the utmost efficiency.
So, I think I would be able to do this without the tutorial, but we might as well try it out, this being a first play. So let's just take
An
full
excellent
tutorial.
decision. You will have my full support.
Very nice to
Building
know.
a star empire can be a daunting task. To help get things started, I will be providing instructional missions that cover the basic steps necessary to establish ourselves as a successful interstellar power.
So, we need to open the system log, which
The
is
situation log
F5.
displays a list of all currently available special projects and various other points of interest. New items will likely appear as we begin exploring the galaxy.
Okay, so the first mission is that we need to survey our home system, and I happen to know that we need to do this with our science system,
This
our
is our
science
science ship, which is used to survey astronomical objects such as planets in a star system. A planet needs to be surveyed in order to make its resources visible. This is our homeworld and the capital of our empire. The planet summary screen, which we are currently looking at, provides an overview of the planet's important statistics.
So a lot of...
Here we see a visual representation of this planet's surface, divided into tiles. This tab is only visible on colonies and surveyed worlds that are habitable. Each pop occupies a single tile, which means that there can never be more pops on a planet than there are free tiles.
I would actually wish that I hadn't turned
of
them on.
service.
Wonder if I can turn them off again. Let's just...
Tips are enabled. Tutorial missions are disabled.
He's a bit noisy. Anyway, we want to survey our first system, so I think, of course, we know of our home planet, but we haven't even surveyed our moon, so let's find our science ship again. And let's just survey the system, starting with our moon. And as you can see, they start a path around themselves. Starting with the moon, because I clicked there, and then going around surveying all the different celestial bodies in the shortest possible route. And it seems to be fairly accurately the shortest route, so that's fine. Then we also have in there here
The Spaceport tab is where we view orbiting fleets, build new ships, and upgrade the station itself. If a planet has no spaceport, we can order the construction of one if we have the necessary resources.
So as it says, this is our spaceport. And I think, just for the record, that these things are actually not floating in space in any kind of scale. This is just a representation of what is on or around this planet. So the spaceport is actually part of the planet, as you can see down here. It's on the same menu as our city and surface and armies.
This is where we manage all ground forces on this planet. The upper portion of this view is divided into 3 sections. The top section represents the orbital space above the planet. The middle section is the atmosphere, and the bottom section is the surface.
Okay, so again, this is our planet, and around our planet is the spaceport. And of course, the different ships are also orbiting the planet, but it would be annoying if everything was clumped down here. It would make it much harder to look or see. So it makes sense that they put it out here where we can actually see it. Then we have our
military fleets are used to protect our emerging empire from threats, or to expand our glorious rule through force of arms, if we so wish.
So we of course have them. We have 3 Corvette-class ships. We might as well go into the ship design and see.
All the ships in use within our empire are designed here. New hull sizes and components will be unlocked as we research new tech.
So let's go in here. So we currently have this Lorad class Corvette, which have a small and a medium mass driver. I think if we see here, we can. All the ships are made of different cores that you can choose. The small ships only have 1 core here, but you can see you can choose between 3 different types. There's the one we have now, the Striker core, which have a medium slot and a small slot. There are 4 weapons and 5 utility slots. Then there's the Interceptor, who has 3 small and 5 utility. And there's a Shifter who has only a 1 small weapon slot, but then has 2 medium utility slots. So you can kind of choose which role your ships want to take. I believe that the big difference between medium and small weapons is range, where the medium has 10 more range, but a little bit less accuracy. But you can see the damage is basically the same. That is, 1 medium is basically the same as 2 small. So whether we have 3 small or a small and a medium should be the same for damage, but with the medium we get to shoot a little bit earlier, if a little less accurate. So I think this is probably the best to start with, getting some alpha strikes on enemies who use small weapons. Then we of course have our warp drive, and the warp drive uses 5 of our power, and our cannons of course also use power. So we use, all in all, we use 12.5 power from this ship. We also have a standard combat computer for now. We have a standard chemical truck that's also using 5, so that's 17.5. And then our radar system doesn't seem to use anything. In order to power this, we apparently need 2 generators. So I must have, 5, 5, 5, so 15, 17.5. So we have 20 power, and that leaves us with 2.5, or rounded down to 2, apparently. We have a little bit of armor. I don't think we don't have anything to choose from here, so this is basically what we can get. I think this will be a fine first class of ship, but I don't want this to be called Lorad Cladded. I think I will call these Hounds. They are small ships, so they are like hounds. And then we will delete the old class, so we call them all hounds. And then we will okay. Thought they would all be able to upgrade, but maybe it's because they haven't changed anything that they can't upgrade. Anyway, I think that's fine. Then of course,
ship, which is
in the end we have our
space stations. When an astronomical object, such as a planet, has been surveyed, We can order this ship to build a research station or a mining station to exploit any resources it may have.
Okay, well, this is our construction ship, and as I said, we can use it to construct stuff. Let's have a look at our planet, actually. So, at this planet we produce 6 power, 2 minerals, 4 food, 2 physics research, 1 society research, and 1 engineering research. It is ruled by Governor Mexadoc, who provides 2% happiness, get a bonus on production type of 5%, and a blocker clearance of -6%, so that's pretty nice. We also enact some edicts.
These are planet-specific edicts, practices that can be temporarily enforced by spending some of our influence.
Yes. We can enact them, but we don't have enough influence yet, and we probably don't really have enough. We won't get enough out of them yet because we haven't fully developed this planet. So let's go to the service. As you can see, it's a 16 tile planet, meaning that it can be 16 pops on it. It has some tile blockers here. These are the tile blockers, the weird borders here. And on the starting planet you have sprawling slums and industrial wastelands. And we start being able to clear them. So we could actually clear them now if we wanted to. When we clear them, the only thing that changes is that you be able to build something on them, and we can put pop on them. The resource that the land gives is already generated, so we already get can already see that this is engineering research and this is society research and so on. So we already know what we're gonna get. Here we have our here we have our capital, our planetary administration, and that provides 3 mineral and 3 food, and it also provides a adjacency bonus to the 3 tiles around it if they produce mineral, food, or energy, and it just so happens that they all do that. As you can see, they are all in red here because there's a 10% malice for us being decadent and not having any slaves. So from the start of the game, we already have a malice to our production, but not for minerals, because minerals we get the 5% strong and 10% for I believe, I don't actually remember where the 10% comes from. Maybe we can see that.
The government screen presents us with information regarding.
Yes, we know that. Where did we get that 10% from? Oh, it's probably because he's an industrialist. So this is our ruler, Ahuran 16th. He has a skill of 4. He is an industrialist, so we get 10% minerals. And he has architectural sense, so we build 15% cheaper. So that's probably the explanation why we get that extra 10%. So we actually end up with a net bonus of 5%. But of course, we want to get some slaves as fast as possible so we can get rid of that decadent trait. And it'll be interesting to see if we actually need slaves on all planets or if we just need to have access to slaves, but we'll find that out. So far we have buildings on 4 tiles, it would seem. We have a mining network here, and we have 2 power plants and a hydroponic farm. And what we could build, well, we have access to this physics one where we could choose to build a...
Some buildings may cause adjacency effects to other buildings in neighboring towns.
Oh yeah. That's nice. So we could decide to build a science lab here. We could also, of course, build any of these other things, but if the tile provides something different from the building, then the building will overrule the tile, and it will only provide whatever the building does. So, for example, a tile like this, where it provides both mineral and food, you need a building that provides those 2 things in order to get both of them. So, the only thing that would really make sense here would be a basic science lab, which would give us some extra science, and it would also make sense with our whole backstory and stuff. So, let's actually do that. It will cost us 51 minerals. It will cost a maintenance of 1 power, but I think we want this. We want this. So I'm gonna build this here, and then I'm just gonna move a population down there right away. Okay, that was our planet. There's also one defense army, but I don't think we have to worry about that yet. Then finally we have our science.
The technology screen is where we will be directing our research efforts. Technologies are categorized into 3 different fields, with each field typically having 3 available research options.
So yes, science. We have 3 different scientists. They have traits each. This guy is an expert in field manipulation. That means that whenever he works with field manipulation, he'll have a 10% bonus on research speed. But it also means that he are more likely to generate science cards that have field manipulation. As you can see here, instead of getting a technology tree as we would in most games, in Stellaris you get tech cards. And they are generated just as a cards in a game. Whenever you draw a card, you shuffle the rest into the deck and you draw new cards the next time. And there are rare cards like in any trading game. So if you get a rare or a very rare card, then it might make sense to take that over anything that we actually need more, because there's a chance we'll never get that card again. In this case though, it's for normal technologies, so we just choose whatever we need the most. We can get a physics lab, which would give us more science. We could get field modulation, which will let us store more energy and build better power plants. We can get administrative AI, giving us more research speed. Or we could get solar panel network, which is a module. I guess it's a module for... yeah, a module for a spaceport, which will generate credit energy. I think it's just a module for a spaceport. So, of course, these 2 would make sense with our race in mind. 5% isn't that big of a bonus right now, though. 5% on top of 5 or 6 isn't really that big of a boost. And building science buildings to start with is probably not going to be our priority. We want to get some money, we want to get some energy, and we want to get some minerals. So I think going with one of these 2 would make more sense. And out of these 2, I think this one makes the most sense, because it adds to something, to our spaceports where we don't really have anything to build to start with, and it's apparently it seems like a pretty nice way to get some energy. So let's start with this. And we have our society research, and here we want to be starting with the New World protocols. Like, all of these different things might be good and well, but we want to be able to colonize as soon as possible, and if we do shuffle this back into deck, there's no guarantee that we'll see it anytime soon. And so there's basically no discussion, we need colony ships. Finally, we could also say that he is a expertise in statecraft, so he gets 10% if he does anything with statecraft. And the final guy is resilient, so he'll live 25 years longer. And here we can choose between engineering facility, again a research building. We can get ion thrusters for our spaceships, making them faster. We can get defense platforms. Again, I think that's a bit early to start researching that. Or we could get Betharian refining, unlocking Betharian as a resource, and Betharian power plants. I think I would like to do this. It's always nice to be able to see special resources when you expand, so getting this early on will mean that we have much more planning potential when we plan our expansion. So that's a good thing. So let's check
the Empire screen lists the planets of our empire, with leaders and the different factions in separate tabs. It also lets us create and manage sectors.
Okay, so this is our Empire screen.
The Leaders tab lets us hire, dismiss, and assign. The Factions tab provides an overview.
So yeah, as he's so, I think I'm gonna turn him completely off, because he's actually a little bit annoying when you're trying to do
Tutorial missions and tips are disabled.
Okay. So anyway, Empire screen. We have our planets here. These are really nice to have, of course, when you get further into the game. Being able to have a quick overview of all your planets is nice. Of course, right now there's only one planet, so not too much to look at. Again, our leaders here. We have room for 11 leaders, being Science Directorate, we get one extra. We already have 4 scientists. There's another one on our science ship. Let's actually see. So he is a archaeologist, so he gets 50% extra anomaly research speed and 25% less fail risk. So that's really nice. We currently have no admirals or generals, and until we actually have something to fight, there's no reason to hire anyone. And the same with governors until we get more planets, there's no reason. Leader recruitment cost, actually pretty nice. And then finally we have, that actually doesn't mean anything because he's already been hired. Anyway, then here we can see any factions that we have. Luckily we still only have loyalists, so there's no one to fight here. Then there's contacts, we haven't met anyone yet. Ship designer we already been looking at. Situation log we already looked at. There's also victory conditions, but that's not really relevant yet. And then there's technology. So now we've actually looked at it all. We have the outliner here, which I would say is so far looks pretty nice. And then we can just zoom in and out of our solar system here. And I've heard that the detailed map mode is the best to look at. Then we can go to our... we can go to galaxy map with M. Wonder if we... Yeah, we can go back and forth between those with M. Yes, and if you hover over a planet, you can go into that planet instead of the one you came from. So, this is our local area. We are near the center of the galaxy. Up here in the... If we were to call it anything, the northeastern corners, but of course there are no north and east in space. And it seems like we have 3 planets, 3 systems inside of our borders, with this one being close to it. We already have some intel about the systems close to us, so we know which planets are in there. But this one, for example, we don't really know anything. We know sort of that there are planets here, but we don't know what type it is. So, with that in mind, we might as well actually use our fleet. There's nothing to be careful about right now, so let's send them out here and get some intel on this system. They can't survey the system, so they can't find out what's on the planets, but they can at least see if there are any planets there that make sense. So for example, here we can see there are a desert planet in this system. Here. We don't know anything about it yet. Except that it seems that it's a planet that's actually bigger than the one we live on. But we don't know if there's anything making it uninhabitable. Of course, our own planet here, Loken, has a habitability of 100% since it's our home planet, but other planets have a base of 80 and then different things can change that. Anyway, I think it's almost time to unpause, but as time does, it has been running away with us, so again, we'll have to end this episode without ever having unpaused. I hope you at least enjoyed this look into Stellaris. If you did, consider hitting the like button and subscribing. Hope to see you in my next video, and until then, have a good day.